The Backrooms have become one of the largest collaborative horror projects on the internet. What started as a single anonymous post on 4chan has evolved into thousands of levels, hundreds of entities, multiple competing canons, best-selling games, analog horror series, and even a Hollywood film. But here's the problem. If you've ever tried learning about the Backrooms, you've probably realized that everyone tells a different story. One YouTube video claims level 0 is full of monsters. Another says there aren't any. Some people talk about M.E.G as if it's the official government of the Backrooms. Others insist it doesn't even exist. So in this video, we're going through the Backrooms Iceberg using the wiki.canon as the primary source, while also pointing out where Kane Pixels and other versions differ. Let's start where everything. Tier 1, the original image, everything began on May 12th. 2019. An anonymous user uploaded a photograph to the paranormal board on 4chan after someone asked people to post unsettling images. The photograph looked incredibly ordinary. A series of empty rooms, yellow wallpaper, old carpet, fluorescent ceiling lights. Nothing appeared dangerous. There were no ghosts, no monsters, no blood, yet thousands of people found the image deeply unsettling. The reason wasn't obvious at first. The picture didn't look haunted. It looked familiar. Many people immediately felt as if they'd been somewhere like this before. An empty office after closing time, a furniture showroom, a hallway inside an abandoned building. That strange feeling of recognizing a place you've never actually visited became one of the foundations of the Backrooms. Interestingly, the image itself wasn't originally created as horror. It was simply a photograph. The horror came from what someone wrote underneath it. The original post, a second anonymous user replied to the image with just a few sentences. Those sentences created the entire Backrooms myth. The post claimed that if you weren't careful, you could accidentally knock-clip out of reality. Instead of staying in the real world, you would fall into an endless maze of empty rooms. The word knock-clip comes directly from video games. In games like Half-Life or Garry's Mod. Knock-clip is a developer command that disables collision. Instead of being stopped by walls, you simply pass through them. Developers use it to inspect unfinished areas behind the map. Players use it to explore places that were never meant to be seen. The Backrooms transformed this gameplay mechanic into horror. Instead of clipping through a wall inside a game, you accidentally clip through reality itself. There's no portal, no magic spell, no warning. Reality simply fails for a fraction of a second, and you fall somewhere you were never supposed to reach. This idea immediately resonated with internet culture because it felt strangely believable. Not scientifically believable, but emotionally believable. Almost everyone has experienced walking into a familiar place and feeling that something was just off. The Backrooms turned that feeling into an entire universe. Level 0, if you knock-clip into the Backrooms, there's a good chance you'll arrive at level 0. Officially, level 0 is classified as a Class 1 survival difficulty level. That means it's considered relatively safe. There are almost no environmental hazards. Resources are scarce, and according to the current wiki.canon, there are no confirmed native entities. This surprises many newcomers. Most games immediately place monsters inside level 0, however, that's largely because monsters create more exciting gameplay. The original concept was much simpler. The environment itself is the threat. Level 0 resembles the back rooms of an old commercial building. Every room is covered with faded mono-yellow wallpaper. The carpet is permanently damp. Fluorescent lights cover the ceiling, producing a constant buzzing noise that never stops. No windows have ever been found, no clocks function correctly, and despite the enormous size of the level, there are almost no recognizable landmarks. The geometry of level 0 behaves in impossible ways. Walking in a straight line rarely leads where you expect. Turning around doesn't always reveal the hallway you just came from. Some rooms appear multiple times. Others disappear entirely. Because of this, creating an accurate map has proven impossible. Perhaps the strangest property of level 0 is isolation. If two people knock-clip together, they almost never arrive together. Groups become separated instantly. Radio communication becomes unreliable. GPS devices stop functioning, and after only a few hours, many wanderers report losing their sense of time completely. Some claim they wandered for what felt like days, only to discover that only a few hours had passed. Others report the exact opposite. Although level 0 is considered relatively safe, it has still claimed countless lives, not because something hunted the explorers, but because they eventually ran out of food, water, or hope. Level 1, the habitable zone. If level 0 is where people become lost, level 1 is where civilization begins. Officially, level 1 is also classified as a Class 1 survival level, but unlike level 0, this level actually contains resources, settlements, and survivors. The environment changes dramatically. The yellow wallpaper disappears. Instead, explorers find themselves inside what looks like an enormous industrial warehouse. Concrete walls stretch for miles. The ceiling is lined with exposed pipes and electrical cables. Wooden crates are scattered everywhere. Some contain useful supplies, others are completely empty, and a few contain things no one can explain. One of the biggest differences between level 0 and level 1 is that you're no longer alone. This is the first level where organized survivor groups have established permanent bases. Because of that, many wanderers consider reaching level 1 their first real chance at survival. However, it's also the first level where hostile entities become common. Resource crates. One of the most recognizable features of level 1 is the wooden supply crates. No one knows who placed them there, they simply exist. Opening one crate might reward you with canned food, batteries, clothing, medical supplies, or bottles of almond water. The next crate could contain absolutely nothing, and in rare cases, explorers have reported finding objects that don't belong in the backrooms at all. The randomness of these crates has led many people to believe the level is somehow generating resources on its own. Others think someone or something is restocking them. To this day, nobody knows. Almond water. If there's one item every backrooms explorer hopes to find, it's almond water. At first glance, it looks like ordinary bottled water, but every bottle carries the same unusual smell: almonds. According to Wiki. Almond water has several unusual properties. It helps reduce stress and panic. It can restore energy after long periods of exhaustion. Some reports even suggest it weakens certain psychological effects caused by specific levels. Because clean water is extremely valuable inside the backrooms, almond water has effectively become a form of currency. Many settlements trade it instead of money. However, not every bottle is genuine. Counterfeit almond water exists, and drinking it can be dangerous. Experienced wanderers always inspect a bottle carefully before trusting it. M.E.G. Eventually, people stop trying to survive alone. That's how the major explorer group, better known as M.E.G, was formed. M.E.G is the largest documented organization in the backrooms. Its mission is simple: rescue new wanderers, map unexplored levels, study entities, and create safe communities where people can survive. Unlike many fictional organizations, M.E.G isn't presented as a military force. Most of its members are ordinary people who happen to knock-lip into the backrooms and chose to help others instead of wandering alone. Because of its size, M.E.G has become one of the most influential groups in modern backrooms lore, but it's also one of the most controversial. Some fans believe M.E.G makes the backrooms feel too organized. Others argue that without groups like M.E.G, long-term survival would be almost impossible. Base Alpha, the largest M.E.G settlement, is known as Base Alpha. Located on level 1, it serves as the organization's headquarters. New wanderers arriving here receive food, shelter, clean water, and basic training. Experienced explorers often use Base Alpha as a staging point before entering more dangerous levels. The base also stores maps, research documents, and reports about newly discovered entities. Although Base Alpha is considered relatively safe, it's still inside the backrooms. No wall can guarantee absolute protection. Tom's Diner, one of the strangest locations connected to Base Alpha, is Tom's Diner. Despite existing inside a seemingly infinite nightmare, it's exactly what the name suggests: a diner, operated by a man named Tom. According to the lore, Tom somehow manages to prepare fresh meals for wanderers using resources gathered throughout the backrooms. Instead of money, customers trade supplies, food, medicine, useful equipment. Tom's Diner has become one of the few places where explorers can relax, exchange information, and temporarily forget where they are. For many people, It's the closest thing the backrooms have to normal life. The first dangerous entities level 1 is also where many wanderers encounter their first hostile entities. Unlike level 0, danger here is no longer psychological, it's physical. The most common reports involve hounds, facelings, and occasionally smilers during power outages. Each behaves differently, and understanding those differences often determines whether someone survives their first expedition. Hounds, one of the first truly dangerous entities most wanderers learn about, is Entity 8, better known as the Hound. At first glance, a hound almost looks human. Its body has the same general shape, but that's where the similarities end. Its skin appears stretched tightly over its bones. Its arms are unusually long. Its fingers end in sharp claws, allowing it to move quickly across floors and walls. The most disturbing feature is its mouth. Instead of normal human teeth, hounds possess several rows of long, needle-like teeth that remain visible even when the mouth is closed. Unlike many entities, hounds don't rely on stealth. Once they notice a target, they'll often begin sprinting directly toward it. Fortunately, they're not particularly intelligent. According to M.E.G reports, hounds are attracted by movement and sound. If one hasn't noticed you yet, staying quiet and avoiding sudden movements greatly increases your chances of survival. However, once a hound begins chasing someone, escaping becomes much more difficult. This is why experienced explorers never travel alone through unfamiliar levels. Facelings, another entity commonly encountered after level 1, is the faceling, officially classified as Entity 9. Facelings are perhaps the most unsettling creatures in the backrooms because they appear almost completely human. They wear ordinary clothes, they walk normally, they even mimic common human behavior. The only thing missing is a face. Where their eyes, nose, and mouth should be, there is only smooth skin. Despite their appearance, adult facelings are generally passive. Most ignore wanderers completely unless provoked. Some have even been observed sitting on benches, reading books, or walking through abandoned buildings as though nothing unusual has happened. Juvenile facelings are different. They're significantly more curious and occasionally approach humans. Because their behavior isn't fully understood, M.E.G recommends avoiding unnecessary interaction with them. To this day, nobody knows where facelings came from. Some theories suggest they were once human. Others believe they've always existed inside the backrooms. No evidence supports either explanation. Smilers, if hounds represent obvious danger. Smilers represent fear of the unknown. Officially known as Entity 3, smilers are almost never seen clearly. Instead, people notice two glowing eyes and an impossibly wide smile floating inside complete darkness. That's usually the only warning they get. Smilers avoid brightly lit areas. They're most commonly encountered in dark hallways, maintenance tunnels, or rooms where the lights have stopped working. Because so little of their bodies can actually be seen, nobody knows what a smiler truly looks like. Some illustrations depict them as floating heads. Others show thin humanoid bodies hidden in the darkness. The Wikidot intentionally leaves much of their appearance unexplained. According to survivor reports, the safest response is surprisingly simple. Do not approach. Do not shine a flashlight directly into the darkness searching for it. Instead, leave the area calmly while keeping as much distance as possible. Like many backrooms entities, the less interaction, the better. Level 2 pipe dreams. After surviving level 1, many wanderers eventually find themselves entering level 2, known as pipe dreams. The environment changes once again. Gone are the warehouses, gone are the supply crates. Instead, level 2 resembles an endless maze of industrial maintenance tunnels. The walls are made of concrete and metal. Massive pipes cover nearly every surface. Some carry hot steam, others transport unknown liquids. No one knows where the pipes begin or where they end. The temperature inside level 2 is significantly higher than previous levels. Many explorers describe the air as almost unbearable. The combination of extreme heat, narrow corridors, and constant mechanical noise makes navigation extremely stressful. Unlike level 0 and level 1, level 2 contains a much higher concentration of hostile entities. Hounds are frequently encountered here. Smilers often hide inside sections where the lighting has failed. Because the tunnels branch endlessly in every direction, explorers can easily become trapped between multiple entities with nowhere to run. For this reason, M.E.G classifies Level 2 as one of the first truly dangerous levels encountered by new wanderers. Many expeditions into deeper parts of the backrooms begin here, and many never return. Level 3 Electrical Station Level 3 is a massive electrical facility filled with generators, cables, maintenance tunnels, and endless machinery. The constant noise makes it almost impossible to hear footsteps, which is one of the reasons this level is so dangerous. Unlike the previous levels, entities are extremely common here. Hounds and smilers are frequently reported, making exploration risky even for experienced wanderers. Despite the danger, many groups still travel through Level 3 because it connects to several important levels deeper in the backrooms. The HUB, one of the safest places in the backrooms, is the hub. Instead of being a normal level, it's a network of long corridors connecting dozens of other levels together. Think of it as the subway system of the backrooms. Most hostile entities cannot enter the hub, allowing survivor groups to use it as a safe travel route. Because of this, discovering the hub dramatically increases a wanderer's chances of survival. Level 4 Abandoned Office Level 4 looks surprisingly normal. It resembles a modern office building with conference rooms, vending machines, computers, and working electricity. Clean water and supplies are much easier to find here than on previous levels. For that reason, many survivors choose to settle on Level 4 instead of continuing deeper. However, just because a level looks normal doesn't mean it's completely safe. Explorers are still advised to remain cautious. Level 5 The Hotel Level 5 is one of the most iconic locations in the backrooms. It resembles a luxurious hotel from the early 1900s. Long hallways, large chandeliers, expensive furniture, everything appears elegant, until you realize there's nobody there. Many explorers report hearing footsteps behind them or music playing from empty rooms. Several doors don't lead to hotel rooms at all. They open into completely different levels. Because of its unpredictable layout, Level 5 is considered much more dangerous than it first appears. The Beast of Level 5, the most dangerous entity on this level, is the Beast of Level 5. Very little is known about it. Most descriptions portray it as a tall humanoid figure wearing dark clothing. It moves silently through the hotel and is rarely seen directly. Nearly every confirmed encounter ends with the explorer disappearing. Because information is so limited, many believe the beast deliberately avoids being observed. Level 6 Lights OUT Level 6 is almost completely dark. Flashlights often stop working. The silence is overwhelming. Many wanderers experience panic attacks after only a short time inside. Even though relatively few entities have been documented here, the lack of visibility makes every sound feel threatening. For many explorers, Level 6 is psychologically more terrifying than any monster. Level 7, Thalassophobia Level 7, is unlike anything seen before. Instead of rooms or hallways, the entire level is covered by a seemingly endless ocean beneath a massive ceiling. There is almost no dry land. The level is home to a gigantic aquatic entity known as Tiny. Despite the name, Tiny is believed to be one of the largest entities ever documented. Very few explorers survive long enough to study the level. At this point, you might be wondering, are we really going to go through every single backrooms level? The answer is no. There are well over 1,000 documented levels across different canons, and new ones are still being written today. Covering every single one would take hours. Instead, from this point forward, we'll focus on the levels, entities, and locations that had the biggest impact on the backrooms community. The places that became internet legends. The levels that inspired games, analog horror series, and millions of YouTube videos. Because these are the locations almost every backrooms fan knows by name. So with the numbered levels behind us, it's time to dive into the most iconic parts of the iceberg. Level fun equals out of every level in the backrooms. None is more deceptive than level fun. If you've spent days wandering through dark tunnels, abandoned offices, and endless concrete hallways, finding this place almost feels like a miracle. The walls are covered with colorful decorations. Bright balloons float near the ceiling. Long tables are filled with birthday cakes, candy, and presents. Music echoes through the halls. At first, it feels impossible that a place like this could exist inside the backrooms, but that's exactly what makes Level Fun so infamous. Officially, Level Fun is considered one of the most dangerous locations in the entire backrooms, not because of the level itself, but because of the creatures that live there. Partygoers Level Fun is believed to be the home of partygoers. Officially classified as Entity 67, partygoers are one of the most recognizable creatures in Backrooms lore. Their appearance varies depending on the canon, but they are usually described as yellow-skinned humanoids with unnaturally large smiles painted across their faces. Unlike hounds, partygoers don't immediately attack. Instead, they welcome you. If a wanderer enters Level Fun, they may hear voices saying things like, "Come join the party. We've been waiting for you, don't be shy." The creatures act friendly, they wave, they laugh, sometimes they even sing. That's what makes them terrifying. They're trying to convince you that nothing is wrong, according to survivor reports. Accepting the invitation almost always ends the same way. The wanderer never returns. The partygoer incident, one of the best-known stories, tells of an explorer who believed the warnings were exaggerated. Instead of running, he decided to speak with a partygoer. At first, everything seemed normal. The creature smiled. It offered him cake. It asked him to stay just a little longer. His final journal entry simply read, "Maybe everyone was wrong, they're actually nice." Nothing else was ever written. Whether the story is true or not has never been confirmed, but it remains one of the most famous legends associated with Level Fun. The next is the Poolrooms. If Level Fun tricks you by pretending to be cheerful, the Poolrooms do the exact opposite. They're strangely peaceful. Officially, the Poolrooms aren't a single level, but a collection of locations that appear throughout different Backrooms canons. They're among the most photographed and recognizable places in the entire mythology. The first thing people notice is the silence. Unlike Level 0, there are no buzzing fluorescent lights, no machinery, no footsteps. Only the gentle sound of water echoing through endless tiled corridors. The air is warm and humid. Crystal clear pools stretch in every direction. The lighting is soft, almost comforting for many wanderers. It's the first place in weeks that doesn't feel threatening, and that's exactly why some explorers stay for far too long. Why are the Poolrooms so popular? Unlike most Backrooms levels, the Poolrooms don't rely on monsters. They rely on atmosphere. There's something deeply unsettling about a place that should be relaxing, but feels completely empty. No towels, no lockers, no lifeguards, no signs that anyone has ever been there, just endless pools connected by identical corridors. Psychologists often compare this feeling to liminal spaces, places built for people but completely abandoned. The Poolrooms became one of the internet's most famous examples of that concept. Do the Poolrooms have entities? That depends on which canon you're following. In the Wiki.canon, many Poolroom locations contain few or no confirmed entities, making them relatively safe compared to other levels. However, the real danger is navigation. Every corridor looks identical. Every pool looks the same. Many explorers believe they're walking in circles for hours, only to discover they've somehow reached an entirely different section. Other versions of the lore describe hearing splashes behind them, despite nobody being in the water. Some even claim they saw someone swimming below the surface. When they looked closer, there was nothing there. Whether these stories are hallucinations or actual encounters has never been confirmed. Out of every level in the Backrooms, none is more deceptive than Level Fun. If you've spent days wandering through dark tunnels, abandoned offices, and endless concrete hallways, finding this place almost feels like a miracle. The walls are covered with colorful decorations. Bright balloons float near the ceiling. Long tables are filled with birthday cakes, candy, and presents. Music echoes through the halls. At first, it feels impossible that a place like this could exist inside the Backrooms, but that's exactly what makes Level Fun so infamous. Officially, Level Fun is considered one of the most dangerous locations in the entire Backrooms, not because of the level itself, but because of the creatures that live there. Partygoers Level Fun is believed to be the home of partygoers. Officially classified as Entity 67, partygoers are one of the most recognizable creatures in Backrooms lore. Their appearance varies depending on the canon, but they're usually described as yellow-skinned humanoids with unnaturally large smiles painted across their faces. Unlike hounds, partygoers don't immediately attack. Instead, they welcome you. If a wanderer enters level fun, they may hear voices saying things like, "Come join the party. We've been waiting for you. Don't be shy." The creatures act friendly, they wave, they laugh, sometimes they even sing. That's what makes them terrifying. They're trying to convince you that nothing is wrong, according to survivor reports. Accepting the invitation almost always ends the same way. The wanderer never returns. The partygoer incident, one of the best-known stories, tells of an explorer who believed the warnings were exaggerated instead of running. He decided to speak with a partygoer. At first, everything seemed normal. The creature smiled. It offered him cake. It asked him to stay just a little longer. His final journal entry simply read, "Maybe everyone was wrong, they're actually nice." Nothing else was ever written. Whether the story is true or not has never been confirmed, but it remains one of the most famous legends associated with level fun, the E&D out of every location in the backroom. Few are as misleading as the end, despite its name. The end is not actually the end. Thousands of new fans make the same mistake. They assume reaching this level means escaping the backrooms. It doesn't, in fact, that's exactly what the level wants you to believe. The moment you enter, everything changes. The endless hallways disappear. Instead, you find yourself inside what looks like an abandoned library combined with an old internet cafe. Rows of dusty bookshelves stretch into the darkness. Old CRT computers sit on wooden desks. Most of them are still turned on. Every screen displays the same message. The END for someone trapped in the backrooms. Seeing those words feels like hope. Maybe, after everything you've survived, this is finally the exit, but according to the lore, that's the trap. Many explorers instinctively walk toward one of the computers. Some try typing, others search through the files. A few attempt to restart the machines. The strange thing is, every computer behaves differently. Some display endless error messages. Some show photographs of places the explorer remembers from real life. Others open folders filled with names, including, in some reports, the explorer's own. No one knows where that information comes from. Another mystery surrounds the books. At first glance, they appear ordinary, but when explorers remove one from the shelf, many discover the pages are completely blank. Others describe books filled with text written in languages that don't exist. Some claim the words change every time the page is turned. Whether these reports are real or simply psychological effects of the level remains unknown. The biggest misconception about the end is that it's an escape. According to the current wiki.lore, it isn't. Most explorers eventually leave, only to find themselves transported into another random level, sometimes safer, sometimes far worse. The level offers hope, just long enough to convince you that you've won. Then it reminds you, the backrooms aren't finished with you yet. Because of that, many fans consider the end one of the cruelest places in the entire backrooms, not because it's filled with monsters, but because it gives you something much more dangerous: false hope.